All right, Garrett, we're back. Now, it's been a while since we've done a video. In the last video, I was saying we'd be back soon to talk about our thoughts and ideas as the game progressed and we got further into the story. We caught some flack for our last video. We had a lot of people kind of commenting, saying that we're crazy and this game is amazing, and what does it matter if they added all of this side content into the game? Just ignore it, play the golden path, play the main story, ignore the stuff you don't like. Now, that is all fine. That's how I'm playing the game now. I'm skipping all of the side stuff and I'm enjoying the game. But I think it did suffer from that. It definitely looks worse than the previous game in the series, and that's because it went open world, because they're managing all of these other systems and mini games and things in this game, which is fine that it's there, but I just wish they didn't do that. So, with that being said, the game is bloated. They said these mini games could be skipped and they were totally optional. We have, right after our last video, I think we both hit the parts where you had to play mandatory mini games.
The boat.
So people were definitely lying. Like you have to do it, and then you get to the golden saucer, and I am enjoying the game. I just want to leave it there. Have you played a lot more since our last video?
Yeah, I got farther, that's for sure. I can't say I played a lot more, but I did get to experience a lot more of the story, make a little bit more connections with it, but I can't say that I've gotten as far into it because I'm approaching it the opposite. I'm doing all the side stuff with it, and it's making it's slowly killing me.
What?
The only problem is I lose drive. I swear I have the attention span of a hummingbird, and I'll just immediately switch off. I start to get bored.
Yeah, that's the main difference between our playthroughs. You are doing everything, you're 100%ing it. I am doing the golden path, and I'm just focusing on the main story at this point because I cannot be bothered climbing these towers and fighting these random enemies in the world and doing all of these little ancillary things.
I like the random enemies part. So those ones you can get the cool like enemy abilities and stuff if you do it correctly. That's the side mission I actually enjoy.
Yeah.
It's just like the card games, the weird like chess battle board thing that you have to do that I can't remember. Is that like Condor?
Yeah,
or something?
Fort Condor.
There it is.
Yeah, I like what they're doing there. I like how they have the PS1 little models and everything. That's fine, but I don't know.
Really cool.
I feel like it's too much. Playing through more of the game since the last time we talked, I've noticed. What are your thoughts on the music? The music seems so random at times, especially earlier on in the game where you're like wandering through the open world and it's like now it's just some random J-pop remixed crazy song. Like this doesn't fit the theme.
It is kind of nice that a lot of them are like different Ode to Chocobo songs like replaced through, and I kind of like that they tried to add a little bit of variety to it, but they are kind of like shoehorned into very odd spots. And I will admit, like, you'll be calling the chocobo in the field, and then all of a sudden you'll get some like really weird like folk orchestra version of it, and then it'll go to a pop one the next time you call it.
Yeah.
So it is a little bit jarring at times, but I do kind of like what they're trying to do with it. It keeps it fresh.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat to get something new every time.
And that's something I've seen too, where it's like people that have played the original game, they're remixing a lot of the original songs, and like that's cool. I like that they're doing that. I like that, I said I was going to play more of the original game than I actually ended up playing, but I've played some of it, and I'm in the open world part, and I've got to what's the name, Costa del Sol in the original game, and I got a little bit further past there, but I don't know. I like how they're sticking with it, and it's really opening up in Rebirth. I just don't think they needed to do that. In my mind, my ideal version of this game would have been, okay, the original game was open world. The remade story is going to be more linear, but you're going to have a very refined path through the whole game, and it'll be split up over 3 games, and you'll still experience everything just in a more linear, streamlined fashion. So
I wondered, though, if that Because the more that I was kind of like trying to read into it, since I didn't get as far as I would get, and if there's anything about me is I don't care about spoilers, so I did read a little bit about it, but I didn't ruin the whole game for me. But there was something that I didn't really say while I was reading, but that kind of interests me is what if the first game, because this game seems to do a lot with like alternate realities and alternate like pathways that you could go through.
Mm-hmm.
What if like the first game's designed to be linear was kind of it's almost like how its original pathway, its original fate was supposed to be. So then you're kind of seeing it at the end. You see like the divergent at the end of the show. So it's like that, or at the end of the show, the end of the game. So you're kind of seeing like this divergent of fate is what is making this next game happening. And you're kind of seeing those, I don't know what those ghosts, the weird like fate ghosts or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
The whispers of fate or whatever. And those they kind of seem to be like the police force or whatever for like the natural order of things. So like just thinking about that kind of made it a little bit more interesting to me, like the first game being more linear is like because this is how it was supposed to set up. You don't get the choice to go and develop these bonds and do other stuff because it wasn't really an option until you opened up this branching pathway.
Yeah. What chapter are you on, by the way? Do you have like an idea of where you're at?
I know I'm on like 8 or 9 or something.
Okay. So I am in chapter 11, and I had this epiphany like a while back, and maybe everyone else is so much further than us because we have not been playing that much.
Yeah, I've been a poor video game player. I've been a decent adult, but a pretty bad video game player.
There has been so much going on lately in the last month. It has been so busy with the Montana trip and Brooke's birthday, and it's too much. But now I'm getting past it. I'm going to play more. But I texted you at one point. I think this is my I'm looking at this and I'm just seeing it unfold as I'm playing through the game. Rebirth. Are we rebirthing people or like giving them new life?
I see. That's the other thing that I was wondering, and this is
because it seems like characters that have died have come back to life. Like we had that happen multiple times from the first game. Now again in Rebirth.
Well, that's what I wonder because you see, like the fates are intervening with like very specific moments. So, like the one that I know that specifically that we have seen is Zack coming alive because a key portion of the original timeline is Zack dies, but since Cloud has like the Mako poisoning, he eventually believes that he is a first-class soldier.
Right.
So it's kind of like that's where his background story comes. That's why he has the Buster Sword. He dressed pretty similar to Zack. Zack is also a little bit more closed off, kind of like how Cloud acts, because you can even see like when he was at his hometown, Cloud was more of like the go-get-em kind of spunky, I guess if you played Final Fantasy 15, Prompto of the group, where he was not really, I guess, spunky, but running around, having a little bit more of a personality than the one we kind of seen that's stonewalling everybody in our current Cloud. So it's kind of neat that you'll see the fate intervene and then Zack comes alive. So there's got to be the rebirth of the story where they're going to allow you to, certain characters probably live, some probably die differently. I bet we'll find out that certain characters have a bigger role in them than we expect. Like, I feel like there's probably like Sephiroth copies floating around or something. He seems to be definitely a big player in the background.
Also, we're gonna have like total spoilers in this video if you didn't.
Oh, I have no idea if I said anything that actually is a spoiler. So definitely, if I'm right, then that's on you guys. I'm just guessing here for the most part.
Yeah, I am just very interested. I just feel like we are now righting the wrongs from the original story. So this kind of goes back to something you told me about, which I kind of knew, but never finishing the original game, I was able to kind of avoid this spoiler until you spoiled it for me. I didn't know that Aerith died. So now I'm totally clued in with everyone else.
It's like a 30-year-old game. I thought everybody knew that that's just what happens in that game. Like, I mean, it's not 30-year-old, but whatever. But it's an old game.
If you would have asked me if she died, I would have said yes. But I almost purposefully blocked that out, and I pretended I didn't know. But I don't know. I wonder if we're gonna finish this, and we're gonna save her.
Well, it kind of feels like. So I don't really like the writing in certain parts of it. I think they make it too Kingdom Heartsy. It's a little too convoluted, and it's M. Night Shyamalan-ing all over itself. And I think, I just feel like Aerith, because they always pipe up with the ancients are, but they haven't really told them any of their powers or what makes them special, except for they know where, Atlantis is, essentially. So I feel like she's gonna have some bigger role with it. She seems to be able to interact with the Fates or like the Whisper people. So I wonder if she is manipulating them for things. Like if she has a bigger connection to the life stream or whatever. I don't know if that means she's got like something to do with her soul or whatnot, but it feels like she has a bigger connection with the life stream that's allowing her to manipulate parts of it, or allowed her to have like this group of whispers enact her will.
Did you get to the part with Tifa yet, where she found that big floating ethereal fish in the big pool of Mako?
Yeah.
That was cool. Seeing all of the different timelines. I feel like we are doing something. This is going to branch off pretty differently from the original story.
And like, don't get me wrong, I know like a lot of the side missions are kind of taxing and not necessarily fun, but I do feel like that's the big thing. You can run through it, but you don't get to see like the relationships that you're getting to build, and I feel like that's a big part of the game.
Yeah.
Where it's like Cloud is allowing him, or even you don't even have to do it with Cloud, I guess. You can like make different relationships for different characters, but allowing that to build it's gotta be something. It's gotta be like some way to like tie the fates together or some crap.
Yeah.
Because, you know, friendship is super big in JRPGs.
It's kind of like different strokes for different folks, because for me, I just we had the first game, it was the big ramp up, it was dark, it was brooding, it was moody, it was awesome. It was very futuristic emo, and then we get this and it's like, yeah, it's the calm before the storm, and it's like we're hanging out, we're relaxing, we're all friends. We're going to spend a little time in every area and learn about each character as you go through this relaxing part of the story. And I don't know, to me it's too much. It's I want the story to pick up. So when I'm going through doing all of the side quests like I was at the very beginning, it's like I want to see progression. This is not moving. The story isn't flowing like
I will say there are a lot of parts where they're branching out to these cool establishing shots and stuff that it's like you are making the story stagnate a little bit.
Yeah. And
there are parts where it is really like, oh man, I really got to find out about. I know I'm probably gonna get shunned for this, but like, do I really have to go through the bathing suit scenes? Can I like see the fucking story?
The story is right there. You can look at it. It's beautiful.
I'm all for it's fantastic. I'm all
massive
for it.
Story.
Yeah, good story.
Huge.
Get to see Barrett in a sailor costume. But like, I could have lived without it. I would rather have learned some more about like why there's that long-haired emo following around Cloud, which is making his life particularly bad, giving him migraines on the spot.
Yeah. Dude, I got to a little character last night called Vincent.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. So, I don't know what's going on with this guy. You said he had like a big beast hand?
No, I think he gets like, from I remember in the games, and maybe his own one, he has like a gauntlet that he uses.
Okay, so that's what he's got in this too. I came up to him and I'm like, for one, we walk in and I see this coffin. I'm like, oh, Vincent, cool. And because you told me about him, so I figured I'm going to recruit him to my party now. We're going to be like cool, happy friends. And he's like, yeah, you can only go do this one thing. Don't do anything else. So then I see this little cord and I follow it. And he's like, no, I told you, don't go in there. I didn't give you approval for that. And he turns into a big werewolf, and he killed me 3 times, and I went to bed. Like a big giant monster, big hulking behemoth beast.
Yeah, he's nuts.
So, I don't know. I thought that was cool.
I'll have to try that. I have to catch up with him. I'm going to have to play that this weekend. Because Vincent's always been one of my favorite characters.
Yeah. Oh, God. He looks so cool. And that's the thing is, I love these characters, and I want to see the story move. And for me, it's all new. I never played the original, so I don't know where the story's going. I want to see. I like these characters. I don't want to be stuck in the weeds finding out about every little variant of the different types of animals on the map or card games. So that's why I'm just opting to just play through it, because I want to know. I don't want to wait. Like, I know it's about the journey, but I like the story. I want to know what's going to happen, and I don't...
The one part... I really liked Final Fantasy 15, mostly for the boy band aspect, where you're kind of together. But the thing that I thought they did really well is is I thought like the side missions really built on it. Like I really thought like it helped build the group that you're with, because that's really the biggest part about it is it's Noxus's journey.
Yeah.
And this one I feel like they're kind of going for the same thing, but it also kind of feels like they're under a time crunch
Yeah.
that none of them seem to want to admit to, because they're all like, "Oh, we better follow these guys," and they walk off. But Cloud's
Yeah.
like, "I better go in the opposite direction for like 6 hours to go fight that one like penguin on the other coast."
Yeah.
And like, how do you catch back? It's like it feels like it breaks the pacing.
Right.
With it every once in a while.
Exactly. Where the last game left off, there was so much urgency. In this game, it's like, Costa del Sol. Let's go to the Golden Saucer. Let's go stop and see where Red 13 comes from. Like, great. Which that I did like that, but
Yeah, I was like, that part I'm actually interested in, but I'm also really interested to know who on that naval ship was the size of Barrett.
Yeah.
Because, damn,
Yeah.
that is a big guy.
Yeah.
Like, how do they feed that man?
Yeah, he is a big boy. I was thinking about this again just last night. You know, going into those folios and the folio menus, like, I don't like this at all. I think the folios are, it's like an evolution of the weapons from the last game, and
It's very reminiscent to other RPG aspects. Like, that's a common skill tree type thing. Like, they kind of do something similar, I think, in 10. Or Titus and everything, where you can do like it's a different like branching pathways. I may be remembering this wrong. I might even just be throwing in Rogue Galaxy, but Rogue Galaxy has something similar too, except in that one you use items to get skills, so like you can constantly evolve your character. So that's a neat aspect. This one I don't really understand the point of giving me the free magic points when the free magic skills kind of suck.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
all of them are like close burst ranges, which I kind of hate.
Right. Yeah, I don't even use them. I actually went back and respect everything just so I could get rid of all of those purple abilities. So now I'm only going through and I'm targeting only the blue moves or only the team abilities. But the purple ones, to me, they're not even worth using.
Like there's a somewhat like I can see putting them on Cloud. I can see is kind of because all his attacks he's got to be in their face anyway. So you can kind of make it him like I guess your stagger generator or whatever, but it just feels like it's kind of weird. Like they have to be on either Cloud, Tifa, or what's her name, Yuffie, because they're like the burst ones. Yuffie and Tifa specifically because they're supposed to like build in your ATP or whatever. You just destroy stuff, but like those moves piss me off on every other character. Because I would rather them have just gone full send in the materia skills, because I thought it was really cool what you could do when you link the materia to your weapon and you get different skills. And like you could do it again in this one, so putting the lightning skill on Barrett where he can shoot lightning bullets is awesome. And I would rather them have gone full spec where like rather than getting like the magic to the materia, they could have gotten different skills that like augmented the actual characters.
Yeah, I think that would have been so much better, and it kind of it kind of goes back to that first thing too, where it's like, oh yeah, you don't have to do all this optional content. It's optional. Well, not really, because if you skip a lot of the optional stuff like I have, you end up like right now I'm towards the end of the game and it's like I don't have that much materia. So like the materia I have, I'm trying to level that up. And then now every time I switch between characters, I want to like totally go through and switch all of my materia back to the main characters. Or you unlock gear that lets you equip so much materia that you can't possibly, or at least the way I'm playing it.
I'm having a hard time finding them too. Like there's a lot of slots I have for the materia, but there's things like what I've noticed for like the enemy fighting one in particular, you get like different skills, and one of them is like Soothing Breeze, which is one of the best healing abilities you have. It's an AoE heal. Yeah, so like heals the whole party continuously for a couple seconds, and it's fantastic. So it's like if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have that move, and that one bails my ass out of fire more times than I can count.
Yeah, you told me about it, and I was gonna get it, but I'm like, I just can't.
It's like the first realm. I think you got to kill like a bird or so. It's like a white fat bird or something. You kill those things real quick, and you get that ability.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or Chadley has it, something.
I have done so little with Chadley. I have done so little of all of the other content, which makes me feel bad. But the cool thing to me is I plan on coming back to this game one day. You know, I enjoyed the first one so much. I enjoyed the hell out of this, at least with the main story. In the future, if I come back before the third and final game in the series, maybe then I can sit back and just enjoy it and dive in a little deeper and enjoy all of the nuances of the story. But right now
Yeah,
it's
no,
new
there's
and
some
fresh.
weird
I want to experience it.
I don't understand like the love-hate relationship they have between like the Chadley and his little like robot side piece. Like I don't understand that one. Like he's like jealous of it. Like it's weird.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I was okay with him being a side character. I didn't really want him to get integral to the story, and he keeps like showing up in the story. I'm like, no, please make this
Yeah.
weirdo go away.
Yeah, he's much more prevalent this time
I
around.
was like, I don't want to deal with him.
I guess one more thing I wanted to ask you about before we go here. I've heard people mention a two clouds theory. Do you know anything about this?
Well, I kind of feel like so. This is what my reading kind of revealed, and it didn't really tell me anything in so many parts. It was more of like some guy talking about a review without spoilers about how the story kind of makes sense. And it feels like because if you think about it, how could Cloud be with his group of like Tifa and all them, but then also be with Zack? Because the beginning of the story, he is with Zack. Like you see him. God, my nose is running. You see him with Zack. They get picked up from the battlefield. He carries him down. Then he goes and gets Aerith and goes back. But at the same time, Cloud is with everybody else. So I think there might be a second one with Zack's whole timeline, since I haven't seen enough about it. That I think Zack's going to have to do something related to...
Did I lose you?
There we go. You switched out of headphone. You're talking through my speaker. All I did is like literally like I think like my checkbook fell and then like wiped out all sound for a second. I was like, what? But I think Zack is gonna be integral in that second Cloud thing. I think there's gonna be something with him that he's gonna fuse back into the main storyline or something.
Because I guess the way I saw it is, to me, I interpret it as Zack took Cloud to Midgar, and then he went like back for Aerith, right? And then he brought her back. And then as he was doing that, Cloud met Barrett, and they got disconnected. And then they went off on their adventure, and Cloud was stuck back, or Zack was stuck back.
Because that first part, I mean, I might be completely off on this one, but from what I understand is Cloud thinks the main Cloud from Remake is the version of Cloud that loses Zack. And Zack dies in that battlefield where you see him like with the fate comes at him or like moved out of the way. That's where he dies. He dies because he hides Cloud, and then as he puts Cloud under cover, he goes out and he fights him. Then he gets shot a bajillion times, and then Cloud finds him and sees him, and then through the Mako or whatever was going on with him, he eventually gets false memories planted in his head where he thinks he's Zack. So then that one goes on to work for the Avalanche group. And then that's where 7 starts.
Interesting.
So this one, if we went through 7 and they started that own universe and you kind of see them jump through to do stuff, and then all of a sudden you're with the train. So that's what I was thinking. Like, I don't know if it's a branching storyline or if it just starts off and that story just changes in general. So that's what I'm trying to figure out, if it's a new storyline or if we have a branch in the timeline.
I think it's got to be a branch in the timeline. That's what I would guess. With everything I've seen so far, and not playing the original, I get... It seems like they're doing an alternate timeline story where we are going through and correcting all the wrongs that happened in the original tale. But I don't know. That's just what I think. I don't know the original game. I'm a new fan to the series. I don't know. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. I would love to hear from you guys. Sorry this video got put up so late. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I sneezed like 5 times in this video, so if anyone comments, I would appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, I want a tally of how many times
just a little bit, just to know there's a little humanity out there. Maybe like a bless you. Just one, I'll take it.
So... Everyone stay tuned. Now that we're back and settled back in here, I plan on having more videos coming out soon. We are going to be covering Elden Ring on the channel after we finish Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Are you kidding me? I gotta go through that again?
Yep.
Oh God.
We gotta get ready because Erdtree is coming.
Oh man.
All
right.
And don't forget, if you guys are watching this video now, I think you have like maybe 10 more days. If Garrett, fill some time for me real quick. Let me look at something real quick.
A magic trick. I got nothing. But wait, okay. So how Erdtree comes out in like 10 days?
Yes.
All right.
Or not in 10 days, but it comes out this summer.
Are we going to impose any ridiculous rules?
No, just whatever you want to do to get through the game. I'm going to play on PS5. I think Chase will play on PC. And
you know what I'm surprised you haven't done? Did you see that game where you play as a crab in like a Souls-like world?
No, I have not. Oh, I've heard of that. Yeah.
I think you'd get a kick out of that. I'm surprised you haven't talked about that game yet. I was waiting for you to pop that one up.
Yeah, I saw it. I was thinking about it, but it's one of those things where it's like I'm trying to get things to line up for the channel. So it's like if we do Elden Ring, I've never finished it. I would like to do Erdtree when that comes out.
You're gonna make me so angry when I have to fight some of these guys again. I swear, like the first time I played the game, what was it, like Godfrey? Beat him the first time, wasn't that difficult. I go back to fight him the second time, and that guy like handed me my ass.
Oh, okay. I got it right here. So you can get Fallout 76 for free if you are an Amazon Prime member, and that goes all the way through May 24th. So
and if you use the code Grunchy Guts, warning, it will not do anything.
Yeah, but you could put it in there. You could definitely type the code. But yeah, so we'll probably do Elden Ring and then maybe Fallout 76 for a little bit. I don't know. So, all right.
You got much better.
Thank you, everybody. Leave a comment down below, subscribe, like the video. Until next time, we'll see you later. Goodbye. This video is brought to you by your support on Patreon. Visit patreon.com/GrouchyGus94 to help support the channel.